Let's hear it one more time for the cast. Woohoo! And Raphael, too, of course.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Sorry, I'm messing with my stuff. All right. Hi, my name is Tracy Brown. I'm a reporter with the LA Times. Thank you, everyone, for coming to this screening of Long Story Short. All right. I think I'm just gonna go down the road. So first, we have Raphael Bob-Waksberg, the creator, the showrunner.
I have popcorn on my shirt.
Means it was a good screening.
Yeah.
Lisa Edelstein, who plays Naomi Schwartz. Ben Feldman, Abbi Schwooper. Abbi Jacobson, Shira Schwooper. That's a tongue twister. Max Greenfield, Yoshi Schwooper. Angelique Cabral, who in my head is just Jen.
She is.
And Nicole Byer, who is Kendra Hooper. I want to start off with a bit of an icebreaker of sorts. I'm curious to know, what TV family do you remember is the first one that meant something to you, and why?
First one that meant something?
Or you just like them. It could be any. There's no wrong reason, no wrong answer.
The Simpsons? I like.
Simpson. That was the first one?
I mean, it was. Well, I don't know.
He's 23 years old.
It meant something. The Brady Bunch? I don't know. What do you want me to say?
That's like the OG family.
Yeah. The dinosaurs? Is that old enough for you?
Dinosaurs.
Like the TV show
Flintstones?
Dinosaurs?
Flintstones.
Yeah. I really saw myself in Bam Bam. Because I like to bam bam.
It's relatable.
What do you think? How about you?
I would have to probably, if it's family, it's got to be the Brady Bunch. I mean, that was family. I can't remember anything else.
I'd go Wonder Years.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
The first one that came to my head was Roseanne for me.
Oh, nice. These are fucking young people.
Lizzie McGuire.
I loved Full House. I always thought I didn't have an Uncle Jesse. I always really wanted one of those.
It's not too late.
I feel like it is.
I grew up watching I Love Lucy, which to me is obviously family.
Fucking young people.
Yeah. So that's my first memory of family. That and Three's Company, which is not really a traditional family.
Yeah, but that's still
it is. It's a
family.
family. Yeah.
Hey, Three's Company too.
Yeah.
Go. Go.
Mine's Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. I just, they're fun.
I mean, I do feel like we have to start at the beginning, which means, Raphael, it's you.
Okay.
Can you take us back? What was the first kernel of a nugget that eventually became Long Story Short? What were you trying to? What got your brain moving?
First kernel of the nugget. Well, BoJack Horseman ended. I was like, I got to pay the bills. No, I wanted to do something about family. I did the show Undone with Angelique, and I found in the making of it that my favorite part of it was the relationship of these sisters. And I felt like that's something I didn't do a lot of on BoJack. BoJack was a very found family kind of show. And I thought the dynamic that families have is really interesting and really fun to explore, a group of people who have this shared history together. And I wanted to do something with time. And I wanted to tell a story longitudinally. I felt like family felt like a good subject for that.
Lisa, we've got a good glimpse of Naomi in the first 2 episodes. But I'm curious about how you landed on the voice for her. Like,
Sorry, Mom. I felt so comfortable with Raphael's writing from the second that I read the script the first time. It's not always the case, you know. Sometimes you have to read something a number of times to find what your voice would be in there, but this was not that case. So, yeah.
I'm curious, like, how was she described to you? I guess, like, how do you get from this description of mom to
Naomi? I think it's really in the writing. I mean, her rhythm was very familiar to me. I sort of leaned into my mom and my grandma a little bit, but Naomi's obviously a different person. But I don't know, I just felt, I just understood. It's so much fun working with Raphael. He's got a very clear image, a very clear sound to what he wants to hear, but he also is really open to playing with things. And so it's really...
Well, you came in and said, "Can I do it in New York?"
Yeah.
And I said, "Okay." 'Cause it was not originally written that way, but that's just how you heard it.
That's how I heard it, yeah.
And then, I mean, this is the beauty of collaboration and working with other people is then we're like, all right, guys, we went to the writer's room. Like, Naomi's from New York now. So, and then so it inspired things like that. The cold open of that second episode about leaving New York. And like, it really gave us a whole other angle on her to think about, okay, this is the person who moved from New York to California. And why would she have done that? And what does that mean? And so I was really grateful that you came in with that voice.
I love that.
Well, Ben, now that I have you here in the spotlight, I have to ask, what did you think of Avi's scheme of how to introduce Jen to his family?
What did I personally think about
Yes.
Abbi's
Did you think it was going to work?
scheme?
Strategy. We'll go with strategy.
I mean, smart. I've told him before, this show feels autobiographical to me.
Yeah.
And I definitely am no stranger to. It's funny. I'm not going to make her come down here, but my wife is here, and she has been through that situation before with the mother who kind of dismisses her for a couple years. It was very relatable to me. I recognized it a lot. I mean, I know this mom, and I know that it's from love and concern and craziness and insecurities and a million other adjectives or problems. And so it's easy to see that and still feel love for her. But I recognize it, and it makes me insane.
What aspect of the Schwooper family dynamic really spoke to you?
The loudness, the crosstalk, the insults, the passive aggressiveness, all of it. I mean, it really felt. I saw this when I first read it. I couldn't believe that something like this was being told. The beauty of this show, I think, is it's so incredibly specific. His specificity. It feels like it's about you when you watch it. And I imagine there's people out there that didn't grow up with an obnoxious Jewish family like me who still can watch this and be like, oh my God, that's my mom, that's my sister. Max didn't do anything, but he does stuff at some point. And you're like, that's my brother. It's tremendously relatable, and I think what's incredible about this show is the more specific you get, the more... The broader the reach, I think, on something like this is, which feels counterintuitive, and I'm learning in real time that's not the case.
I'm just gonna keep going down the line, Abbi. Well, in these show's episodes, we've seen Shira as a kid, Shira as a college student, Shira as an adult. I'm curious, what is it like to get to know someone in this non-chronological hopscotch way? And how did it affect your performance? Now you wanted to, just get to know her.
Oh, interesting. That's such a good question. I think it was, in other projects I've worked on, sometimes you have to sort of invent the past. or you talk to the collaborators, or you have created the past, then you just talk to yourself. But I think with this, it's so lovely that you get to see how those past moments really affect the present, especially in this last one. I love getting to see that devastating scene at the end, and I unfortunately really relate to that with my older brother. It was like a rare thing to get to see like those really pivotal, I'm not going to use quotes, traumatic moments, and to see how they shape us in the script and then in the final thing.
Max, I mean, even this episode just ended with was it Yoshi talking about how he felt because he's aged a little bit, he's a little bit younger from Abbi and Shira. He doesn't feel his relationship is as close as theirs maybe. I guess I'm curious how you thought that played out and like the adult that we haven't quite seen him become yet.
What my relationship was with
How
these two?
Yes.
How being a little brother affected.
I don't need
Yoshi.
I don't need your clarification. Jeez Louise. I don't know. I never really thought about it. I think Yoshi's sort of out off on his own. He's sort of his own thing, which as an only child, I can relate to.
Can you tease what we're going to get to see about Yoshi?
Oh. I think you could do a much better job.
Things exploding out of
Do stuff with mattresses.
There's mattresses.
Yeah.
that they shouldn't be exploding out of.
There's in several ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a religious turn. I mean, it's been so much fun. This was one of the things. It's very nice that we get to sit up here and talk about all of this, but I've never been on a show before where we would all go in and gather around and sit in these table reads and been surrounded by the writers of this show and been so nervous to screw it up. There were many times where I'd be like, who wrote this? And I would find the writer and I go, listen, if I blow the joke, it's not your fault, it's mine. This show is written and produced so beautifully, every word of it. And I just feel so lucky to be a part of it and to have gotten to play out these storylines that have been such surprises each week when we walk in and get to read a new episode. And then finally getting to see them, because it takes a minute, has been such a joy. And now it's exciting because everybody else gets to see them as well.
Angelique, let's talk about Jen.
Let's talk about Jen.
I do have the flip side. What was to Ben's question? What was your response when you saw how Jen was going to be introduced to this kind of wacky family?
I mean, I was obsessed with it. I think that Jen is very me in so many ways. And when I met my husband's family, it was kind of similar. I was just kind of thrown in to a very specific family, and there's a lot of them, and they talk a lot, and I have a very small family. I'm also an only child. I was raised by a single mother. I always kind of felt part, like the other. So this feeling of Jen, like not knowing where she is and where she lands, I related to that a lot throughout my whole life. And I think she handles it kind of how I handle things. She makes some jokes, she does her best, and it's usually wrong. Like, you know what I mean? Like, she broke the kosher rule. And a lot of my friends, my best friends, Max, Ben, are Jewish. all of you.
Hold on.
And
We're literally
and
just
Abbi.
two Jews.
You guys are best
We're
friends.
newer friends. But like,
I
I know these guys a long time.
I didn't know
And
that.
in my
I don't even know your
life,
last
Angelique,
name.
but
did you know you're my best friend?
I'm apparently not
You
a
guys,
friend
it's
at
news
all.
to him, but he's my best friend.
I'll take it.
A lot of my best friends are Jewish, and so I'm also very comfortable around Jews. To be totally honest with you,
That's
And
what people
I
say when they're
do-
very comfortable around Jews,
Thank
famously.
you. Thank you. And I really do feel kind of Jewish a lot of times. So it was a pretty
Keep going, keep going.
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep talking. It feels pretty comfortable for me. As a Latina, I feel very Jewish.
Nicole, we
Moving
barely
on.
got-
Okay.
No,
That seems right. We're gonna move on from that.
we barely got a tease of Kendra. What can you tell us about the kind of person she is? I mean, what questions do you have about her? Because we really do she's just a seat holder in this one. Sorry.
I think she's more than that.
She's more than that.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't mean it in that way, and I apologize.
No, it's cool. No, that's literally the action of what I was doing. Yeah, I too am comfortable with the Jews. I will say, we do get to see a lot more of her later, and she does a little bit more than fill the seat. I mean, I don't want to like give anything away, but like I really do love my character arc. She's so fun, and she gets to like find her footing in this family, which I relate to because my parents are dead. So like when, so like. When I'm like around families, I kind of have to like find my footing. So that felt very natural to me to be able to act and, you know, voice that. But yeah, I'm a seat filler and
I meant to.
I
Seat
feel
saver.
good and
Seat
confident.
saver.
Huh?
Seat saver.
Oh yeah, seat saver, not filler. God forbid. But yeah, I got like, there's a whole episode about me. Just you wait.
I am curious though, because you know, like, how much of her backstory did you fill in yourself before you got to see where it goes?
I mean, I didn't really have to like fill anything in. It was like the writing on this show is so fucking strong and like really wonderful that like any questions I would have would just be answered in the next episode. And truly, the table reads were so fun. Like it was maybe one of my favorite things I got to do is like just, you know, sometimes you have a job and you're like, oh, bleh. But like I would arrive and I'd be like, oh boy. But yeah, I didn't really have to do any work. It was all on the page.
I mean, a number of you mentioned the table reads. I understand it's not super common to always have table reads for animated shows. So can you talk, or can you explain a little bit about how they went? You know, how do they help you? How are you able to further refine what's in the show by actually putting them all in a room together?
Oh, it's incredibly helpful because if you hear people laughing, you go, okay, these are good jokes. And if people aren't laughing, it's like, these are all people who are paid to be here. They want to laugh. So, like, this really isn't working. And it's also, I think, for the actors, it's a wonderful opportunity for them to bounce off each other because the records are not with each other. The records are just with this guy. And so it's helpful for them to kind of hear, and they can imagine the rhythms of the other actors they're working with. And it also is nice to all be together. Like, I think it makes us feel like a family in that way, and it makes us feel like, yeah, we're all working on this project together, and it's a magical thing, those table reads.
I'm not sure, but I feel like we get a taste in the table read of what the whole process feels like. We get to meet all the writers and the producers in those moments of the table read. But I can tell, like, when we leave, it's still like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
No,
Look, it's
so
also
lovely.
an opportunity for Raphael to perform. There's also one
why.
role that he's like, I'll take that one. And then we get to, you know, he did, I think you did Uncle Barry.
Uncle Barry at the table.
At the table. Very memorable performance.
Thank you.
But it's true. It's the only time we get to hear what each other are doing because once we get into the room, it is Raphael playing every other part.
Which I'm also very good at.
He is very good. He is very good.
what in the, it's hard to talk about something without spoiling anything, but I am curious, like what were
Most of the people here did work on the show, so we don't
They've all
have to worry
signed NDAs.
too much about spoiling. But some people didn't, so we should be careful for them.
well, first off, applause for the people that worked on the show.
Yes.
Yay!
But I'm curious, as the season goes on, like what were the pairings that were interesting to each of you individually that you got to see that maybe we don't really expect it from the beginning. Like
I can
which
start
character
off with
relationships.
some, just to get the grease the wheels a little bit. So one thing that was really fun, because we see in this episode the way that Naomi treats Jen. There's a later episode where we see Naomi interact with Kendra and with Jen, and the difference between them I found very fun to write for. The seemingly arbitrary preferences of her daughter-in-laws was a fun thing to discover.
I mean, Kendra sort of embraces so much about the family in the way Jen doesn't, but Jen doesn't because, Jen doesn't because.
Jen, you
her
could save a
husband-
seat every once in a while.
Your husband doesn't want you to.
Right.
Like he doesn't like those things about himself.
That's true.
But
So it's Abbi's fault.
yeah, it's Abbi's fault.
That's usually Abby's fault.
I didn't have any cool. I feel like all my pairings kind of happened in
Yeah.
these. Like I don't have any after that.
That was it.
That was it.
Blew it.
You know all my pairings.
Yeah, there's a good Abbi Yoshi scene that comes
Yeah, that's
later.
true. I feel like with Franco at some point, doesn't he have like a weird?
Not this season.
Oh, yeah. I don't know anything I didn't know about that.
No? Anybody else?
I mean, I think one of the great things about the show as well that you can that I don't know if you can spoil or not, but the other actors who eventually come in and play other roles in this
Yeah, like the
show.
French, like that was John Early, who was just in this
Yeah,
one.
like we would look at the cast sheet and you'd go, "Oh my God, they're doing a voice!" Like wild people, and it's a real it's a testament to you and to people who show up for you.
Well,
But also Linda
LaMontagne,
LaMontagne,
who
who
casting director.
cast this show, did such an amazing job.
But also, I think you guys really set the precedent. That I think people wanted to be on the show because they saw the cast that we had. And I think that's another thing that we realized in that first table read of like, oh, these are all people that could, and in many cases, have headline shows of their own. And like, you guys are such pros and so fun to write for. And that we kind of found, any one of these characters could anchor an episode with any combination of any other or with any amount of guest stars. And it just gives us so much freedom as writers to not have to worry. Like, let's pair this person up with like an actual good actor so we know this episode's going to be okay. Like, we didn't have to this time, I'm saying.
Did that happen on BoJack a lot? When you named names?
No, we never had to on BoJack either. I've been very lucky in that way.
You've all mentioned, right, how strong the writing is on the show. So I'm curious, like, how much room do you have to play, like in the booth or even at the table read, to just kind of push back a little and make it your own?
Yeah, what are the best lines that you guys came up with and improved? what scenes did you save with your great riffs?
I'm like, I'm not saying Shabbat. I'm saying Shabbos.
There you go.
Oh yeah, I said Shabbos.
There was a lot of moments in the booth where I go like this. We'd be like laughing, and I go, Raphael, maybe I say this, and he goes, maybe.
Let's get it, just to have it. Yeah. No, there's a little improv in there, especially in some of the crosstalk stuff. We'll do a tag of like, just keep talking, and I'm gonna do the other person's lines, and just like, let's get a bed of just you guys talking, because there is a lot of overlap, and we like to have lots of extra stuff, and sometimes there's good stuff, good comedy actors.
Because that flips it to you, because like, how much easier is it when you have comedy actors with like a clear voice, and also they're good at what they do.
Good at what they do, but I would say more than the additional dialogue. I think what I love about these guys so much is which should be a very basic part of acting, is they can do the lines in different ways. And so, they give a line, they give you 3 different versions that are all workable, but all funny in different ways. And not all actors can do that, I have found in my experience. And so it's really a treat to go into the booth and be like, oh, let's try, or to go into the editing room and go, oh, we have one that's like a little crazier here, or like a little less crazy. Or emphasizes this word or that word, and we have them all, and they all feel really natural. So it's a joy.
He gives really good direction. Like he's got a great ear, and then he hears what you're doing, and he wants to like add to that. He never wants to suck the life out of it. He always like starts with what you're doing, and then sort of like tweaks it and plays it like an instrument. It's really fun.
Yeah, and I said a lot of words incorrectly, and you were so kind about it.
Did you have to do like Yiddish stuff?
There was some things where I'd be saying it, and you'd be like, no, that's not it.
I mean, it kind of feeds into this, but, this is a show. It's not there to explain what it's like to be a Jewish family, obviously, but so you don't go and explain things. But what is the balance of that? Like, what do you feel like you have the freedom to just...
What's going on over there?
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Life is in the audience. This is not how it goes.
What's the question?
Oh, more just like, was there ever conversation about like, was this too Jewish or not Jewish enough? Like, is there a line?
Do you think there was a conversation if that was too Jewish?
I don't know.
No, I mean, I really felt strongly.
Angelique felt really comfortable.
I really did. I just leaned in.
That was sort of the
I
game.
knew all the Yiddish,
If
if you're
Angelique felt
asking me.
uncomfortable, it was like, too Jewish.
It wasn't Jewish enough. That's what I'm saying.
I felt very strongly, and I think most of us felt very strongly, that the stories we were telling were universal and accessible. And people understand what it is to have a mom that is annoying sometimes. People understand what it is to be in a fight with your significant other or your sibling. Like I didn't think the specifics were distracting. I think if anything, it adds texture to it. And nobody has to get everything about the show. I mean, there's jokes in the show that I don't get. Like that one of my writers pitched, and like, what is that? And so I think that's fun. I like that in a show. If I get everything, then it's like, okay, I beat it, I guess.
Well, who's the final boss? If you beat it?
Exactly. Yeah, I want people to go, ooh, this show's smarter than I am.
Raphael, while I have you, can you talk a little bit about, your decision to approach the show in this way where you're jumping back and forth in time? Like, what does this add? How does it change? What does it add how you get to know these people?
I mean, how does it add how you get to? I mean, you get to know these people so much better. Like, you really experience the life of them. I mean, I think part of the thinking was I want to get to the end of the first season and feel like we've been watching them for 10 seasons. I want you to feel like you grew up with this family. I want you to feel like these are your memories that you're having. I want to trick the audience.
I feel like it's the way people get to know each other when they meet each other, because you're constantly like meeting each other in the present and then going to the past and filling each other in on how you got here. So it feels very organic.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted it to feel like memory. Like you think of something and that makes you think of something else and kind of bounce around. Or like, the metaphor I always use is like it's going to be like flipping through an old photo album and different pages have different stories.
Because this is a show that where you do jump around. We've seen them right through the 90s, the 2000s, aughts, the 2010s, all around.
Yeah, as they say on Coast 103.5, the best of the 80s, the 90s, and today. That's really where I got my inspiration.
That's your barometer for...
Especially around Christmas time, if you ever listen to that station, it's all that.
But this is the cast. Like, what version of the characters did you see first, like visually, and then what version kind of pops up in your head when you think about the characters you play? Like, at what age range, maybe?
I think my character's generally middle-aged to late middle age. But yeah, we've jumped around quite a bit.
I don't know. I gravitate to the older. I feel so old and broken inside. And that's sort of the stuff that I connect to. It's the stuff I'm most interested in when I'm acting. Is yeah. Well, you know, it's subjective what you call acting. Just tell. I'm just a truth teller and a listener.
Storyteller.
A raconteur. I like the sort of. I like somebody with skeletons in their someone who's got sort of who's got the trauma in their past, and I think that's really. I like that stuff. I kind of feel silly playing young. I mean, some people don't feel silly playing.
I
young
only
at all.
play young, so I don't know what you're talking about.
But for me, that's what I connect to when I'm doing it. You know, I don't know. Max? Did you ever do like because you're the youngest? Did you ever do like a voice? Like, what did you do when you were like the littlest?
When you say youngest, do you mean youngest on the panel? Thank you. No, I think that was probably. I think for me, that was the most fun part of the show, and getting to. I think that was like the main question I always had when we were approaching a scene was, what age what's the age range I'm at right in this moment, and it informed how the scene would play out. And I think that's what's so nice about having doing this show with Raphael. He's so clear on what he wants, and so and the writing again is so good and so specific that you get in there. A simple question of like, how old is Yoshi here? Gets you right into it. Mm-hmm. And that was so much fun because you get to play and then once you really start to understand where the show is going, where the characters are going, then that question gets you into that storyline at that time in the character's life. And playing through that story was has been such a rewarding experience, and just sort of being on your ride is really the most rewarding part of the show. And and we worked a little bit on BoJack together, and I remember like, oh man, I wish I got to do more of this because we had so fun, and you so tolerated me, and it's been so wonderful getting to be a part of this and really getting to see storylines fully out, especially that are as specific as these are.
And I would say similarly, we worked on Undone together, obviously, for years, and the idea of time travel and jumping around is so fulfilling as an actor because you kind of carry the youthfulness that you find into these older scenes without even realizing it. And I think that when I did this, when I was working on Jen, not even working on it, it's like unintentional, but all of her sadness and the things that we discover later with Abbi are kind of already set up for you in those early scenes. And again, it comes from the writing, it comes from the directing, it comes from working with you in the booth. And I get so emotional when I work with Raphael. For years, you make me weep and cry, and it's the most fulfilling work you'll ever do as an actor, working with his words and his storytelling. And I think it shows up. I mean, obviously, it's just so beautiful, but also funny and heartfelt, and we feel that in the booth. And I think it translates when you're doing it in real time. And you just kind of have to ground yourself and go and just listen to the words, if that makes sense. Is that too deep? Am I going too deep? Is that exactly right?
Perfect.
Okay.
A plus.
I mean, I think the time jumps are helpful to me because you see what happens in the past informs the future, and it makes acting so much easier.
Abbi. Yeah.
I thought I had skipped it. I was like, go to the next question. It was sort of like where did we like living, kind of?
Yeah, what era of Shira do you like living in the most?
Okay, so I'm really into therapy. And by into, I mean need. And like, and I've grasped onto this saying that is, if it's hysterical, it's historical. Isn't that so? I feel like some of you didn't know that. Take that. That's your little parting gift. But I feel like I love playing teenage Shira because I feel like the emotions, I mean, the emotions as an adult are quite, can be hysterical, and that means it's historical. But I feel like in the teen years, you're like witnessing it like unfold kind of for the first time. And Shira is so, yeah, I just like, I love playing that sort of like exasperated and sort of like she's just pissed and annoyed all the time. And I'm not like that in real life. So, yeah.
I do know we're running out of time, so I do want to end on this note. In the end credits, right, you see it says, right, this program was made by humans. I mean, why was it important to you to include that line? And what does that mean for, I think, everyone up here, that this art is made by people?
Well, people are the best people to make art, which I don't know if everyone still agrees with. But I think I wanted this show to feel like it was made by people. Like when I was talking to Lisa initially about the art, Lisa Hannawalt, who's right over there, we talked a lot about not putting her initial designs through the animation machine, where things just like become perfect and on model and looked like they were colored with like the paint spill tool in Microsoft Paint. I'm sure there's more sophisticated versions of that now, but that's the last time I did art. And I think all the way through, I mean, even with the writers too, we talk about like, let's let this be messy and let's, not necessarily tie up every loose end. We want it to be surprising. And then just, on a professional level, we want to assure our audience that we didn't take shortcuts. I mean, we take shortcuts, but we it's the collaboration of all these people that make the show what it is. I mean, I think that what one might call artificial intelligence now is if not now, but soon could get to a point where if I had an idea, I could kind of write a short log line, and then it could make a whole show just the way I was imagining it. But I don't want to do that, because I think the joy of creation is in how I'm surprised by the humans that I work with. And everybody who worked on this show touched it in some way and brought so much to it. And I hope that when they watch it, they can see, oh, that was a little bit of me. I made that, I did that. So it's very important to me, not just as a thing we put in the credits, but as an actual ethos.
Let's see.
Yeah, you guys have any comments about that? Or anything you wanna
I
add?
disagree.
Oh,
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being here, and once more for all the humans that made this show.
thank you very much. Thank you, guys.